harbor any resentment to any of these entities because I can't be jealous. I've never seen them have anything that I ever wanted. If you sign up for their program, you get a light-skinned, weird-faced wife that never do an interview. Listen, in 20 years, won't do an interview. Nobody's ever talked to her, and she's never been interviewed anywhere. And now, understand, I'm not talking about one person. What I just told you applies to 7 people. How they all end up with that. That's part of what you get. I came in this business saying I was going to expose. When I talked about Michael Jackson, when I talked about R. Kelly, they canceled me for these things because why would you talk about another black dude? Race is not where the line is drawn. It's God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the other side. Period. All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all.
All lies will be exposed. That's all. Cat Williams said it and everybody went crazy because he was exposing certain things in the industry, certain secrets. And I would say that the secrets that he was exposing wasn't that big in the comedy world. Now, the comedians got pissed, right? And Cat later came out and said, Dave Chappelle stopped being his friends, which I'm a big Dave Chappelle fan. I'm a big Cat Williams fan. So it was like, damn, just because you spoke out about certain things, you have to understand that these people are friends with certain people that have connections in business with certain people. So you really can't say too much. Now, this episode is not about Cat Williams and it's not about Dave Chappelle. It is about Jay-Z and what's going on with that whole debacle. And it's just bringing to light some things that I think are still in the dark. And in 2026, I just wonder why anything's in the dark anymore. I mean, they've already released these files. We've already been bombarded with so much information. We can't breathe, right? A lady I don't know if it was a lady or a class action. It seems like it was a class action, but a lady just won a case against Google and Facebook for addiction. We are so wrapped up in social media that our children, our parents, us are constantly glued to the phone. And y'all have got to unplug. We've got to unplug. Hello, and thank you for watching and listening to another episode of the Podacity with Keita Rose. I'm popping that shit in real life. They popping that shit for reals. They ain't having shit going on. That's what I can get a deal. I'm putting you down. I'm putting you on. Hey, I'm putting you down. I'm putting you on. What? Here we dare to use our voices, have the audacity to own who we are, and raise up your roses. We vow to never stop, never shrink, and most importantly, never
shut up. It's just not gonna happen.
Like, share, subscribe, talk shit in my comments. Tell me how you really feel. Hit that bell notification so I can pop up on your timeline. Why wouldn't you want to see me? And hype this video up if you can. You only get 3 hypes a week. Y'all keep telling me, Keita, where's the hype button? The hype button comes after the like button, so clearly you're not liking this. Is there something about this you don't like? I couldn't imagine there'd be something about this you don't like. Like, then hype. Please. I was gonna stay silent about the whole Jay-Z situation. I really was. Number one, after the Diddy situation, after Epstein dropped, the country has shown us how they feel about women, about victims, about not even women victims when it comes to SA, but victims in general, right? Young kids that were exploited, people in communities that were exploited, that trusted a certain figure. And that figure turned their back on the community, and it didn't really matter because that figure was bigger than the program. And y'all weren't. Sorry. It comes with it. It is what it is. I wasn't going to talk about the whole Jay-Z situation because when you talk about anybody that is loved by a community, whether the community is black or white, you're going to get major pushback, right? Because people blind follow all the time, right? I don't care what this person does. I don't care what proof is in front of me. I don't care. I like this person's music. And I know y'all might think that this is so woo-woo. This might be too woo-woo. It might be too woo-woo. But music has a certain frequency. And this is the reason why we feel so connected to art like that, right? Like music. We're so connected to it, and it really made us feel something. And because this person was able to make us feel something, right? We see it all the time with these grifters and these gurus. Because they can make them feel something, I believe you. I will follow you. I don't care what they're saying about you. I don't care what proof there is. I will drink the Kool-Aid.
Give me the Kool-Aid. I want to drink the Kool-Aid.
Before we get started, anything that I said before this and after this is all alleged. Everything is alleged. Everything is alleged. I'm AI. None of this. I just be lying. Everything is fake. This is all for satirical, informational, entertainment, educational purposes. period, point blank. But it's really hard to step outside. But it's kind of like what I played in the beginning of this episode with Cat Williams. There are two sides. Right is right and wrong is wrong, no matter who you follow. So Jay-Z pops out with an interview with GQ, and it was weird because I was like, oh my God, what is he gonna say? You know, is he gonna address the Diddy situation? Is he gonna address Epstein? Of course not. What is he gonna say? Now, with the whole Epstein files, when those documents came out, it was very hard to swallow. It was so much information. And on top of that, we all got to see, you know, if you've ever been a victim of SA or a victim of any type of abuse, it's triggering, right, to see it on the internet, and it's triggering for people to talk about it. But what's triggering for me is not that. It's more triggering to see the comments of people who just don't care that pretend they do. And they'll say things like, oh, those girls were 15. They should have known. They probably liked it. They enjoyed the lifestyle. You don't know what these people enjoyed. You don't know if these people got a little taste of something for 5 days and then the rest of their career and the rest of the time knowing these monsters was hell on earth. You don't know what happened. We just don't. So to say that, it's like, you know, people just need an excuse to be like, I don't care. And I just wish people would just come out and say it. I don't care. I don't care what happened to them people on the island, those women. I don't care what happened to them children. I don't care what happened to the black community after this figure said this and did this. I don't care. It doesn't affect me. I don't care about it. It's not something that matters to me. I wish people would just be honest, because what they'll do is they don't want to say that because that makes them sound like the piece of shit that they are. So they don't want to say that. So they'll be like, well, this is another reason why this might have happened. That 15-year-old, that 14-year-old, she seduced him. Yeah, she seduced him. And she wanted it. And that's why. So yeah, it's just whatever they say to make them feel better about being a abuser apologist and abuser enabler. So that's just what it is. Or an abuser themselves. Let's talk about it. Men and women. Let's talk about it. So I didn't really want to say too much, but there was something about Jay-Z's part in the Epstein file that it got to me. And it wasn't the Pusha T situation, because that was an anonymous tip that came out. A woman had said that, you know, she was assaulted by Weinstein and different things like that. And that she started off with Jay-Z and Pusha, and they acted as some type of handler. And if you want to go and read that section of the Epstein files to figure out what that lady was saying and what the tip was, go ahead, be my guest. I want you to do more research. I do. But that's not what got me. It was the second mention, right? It was the second mention. We're going to talk about both. We're not going to get into details about the allegations, but we're going to talk about both. It was the second mention. It was this, the Super Bowl connection and Jay-Z, right? Super Bowl, Jay-Z, Epstein. How do all three of these things correlate? It says an email exchange in the files between former Barclays CEO Jess Staley. Jess Staley and Epstein referenced Jay-Z in the context of cultural influence, with Staley suggesting that popular culture figures like Jay-Z had pacified the public from protesting economic equality. You got this white billionaire talking to this other white billionaire about Jay-Z's influence in the culture. And it's like, for what? What do you need to talk about that for? What people don't realize is the black dollar really does matter. They can call us whatever they want. They can call us monkeys, uneducated, whatever. Black people work. We're resilient. We get through hard times. We hustle. We save. We stack. We do what we're supposed to do. Maybe a lot of us aren't as financially literate as other communities. To be fair, none of that is taught to any of us in school. A lot of people have that financial literacy because they were born into families that own businesses, right? They have mentors and they have figures in their life that can say, hey, this is how you move your money. This is what the stock market is. This is what you should do. This is how you pay your taxes. This is how you
hide your money. This is how you wash your money.
People might have that. And yeah, in our community, we don't have many of that, which is why you'll see us flock to black billionaires and say they made it, so we can make it. Yeah, you can make it if you're able to do what they were able to do. If you're able to play and manipulate and fool and finesse, and I'm not saying that's the only way to make it, but we're talking about this specific situation. If you're able to do that, yeah, you can make it. You can be a billionaire, absolutely. And unfortunately, a lot of people are. A lot of people are willing to do that type of shit. So I'm like, why is he caring about that? So this is what the email said verbatim, right? It was sent by Jess Staley to Jeffrey Epstein on February 3rd, 2024. It says, you want to know why we are not Sao Paulo? Watch the TV ads on the Super Bowl. It's all about hip blacks in their hip cars with white women. Again, propaganda. Propaganda for sure. Like, oh, if you want to be a hip black, go get you a white woman. But we're not going to go too deep into that. The group that should be in the streets have been bought off by Jay-Z. right? So he's saying like Jay-Z has bought the black community. We should be in the streets, but this is the reason why they're seeing more of us places, right? More of us. And standing back and looking from the outside in, you'd be like, good, great. I'm glad that he's bringing us to bigger places and we're on the Super Bowl and the ads and rap music is here and there. Good. Number one, rap music does not speak for the whole black community. It just really pains me to see people talk like that when they're like, look at rap, okay? Look at punk rock. Let's hear some of the lyrics in punk rock. Let's listen to some of the lyrics in country music. We can dissect every genre. I've heard some heavy metal about eating babies, and I was like, what? Is this what they be talking about? So we can dissect every genre if you want to, but there is jazz, there's R&B, there's a lot of black culture, black American culture they keep saying that we don't have. Black culture is deep rooted in America. We definitely have a culture. But anyways, looking at it, you might be like, well, good, it's good that we're in that, but no, not really. In 2014, they're saying that, Jay-Z got the blacks here and they should be in the streets. That should let you know a lot about what these white billionaires, that you go in, you buy a ticket to the Barclays Stadium and you want to be a part of these things. And I do too. Don't get it twisted. This is not, I'm not trying to be a hypocrite here. I want to go see a concert. I want to go see a football game. Why not? That's something to break up the monotony of our freaking corporate slavery work weeks. So yeah, you would want to go see that. But that money is being placed in the pockets of people who say that you should be on the streets. Okay, cool. So Kaepernick, that happened in 2014. Kaepernick began kneeling during the national anthem in 2016 to protest police brutality and racial injustice. Following the NFL handlings of this protest, game rates declined, right? People didn't want to see him protest, or people wanted to protest the Super Bowl. It was a big deal. When we were seeing George Floyd and everything happening, it was a big deal. It was just a reminder of what our ancestors had been through, what people during the civil rights era had been through when they were getting hosed down in the streets and people were releasing dogs on them to bite them. And when black families would walk down the street and see black people hanging. That was a reality, and we feel like we're so far removed from that reality that none of that matters. Like, that shit was a long time ago. No, it wasn't. People that had to drink from a colors-only water fountain is still alive to this day. Now, granted, they're old, but it means that we are sharing the same timeline with these people. It was in the same timeline. And what happens is social media, movies, television, and different things that are meant to distract, entertain, but distract, right? Get that dopamine hit. It's gonna make you think like that shit was a long time ago because it was in black and white, or we's free now, and we're not. They changed the system around to make us more comfortable with the fact that they're still doing this shit. So Colin Kaepernick, he kneeled, and people were like, good for you, But then he did have some haters. That's not what the Super Bowl is for. Sports is political. Music is political. Food is political. This is political. So after that protest happened, it says ratings decline. A New England Patriots owner, Robert Kraft, reached out to Jay-Z saying the NFL isn't picking up on these social issues. We need your help. Black people, people of color, people that are tired of police brutality, it's not picking up the ratings of the Super Bowl because Colin decided to take a stand, take a kneel, and he kneeled. So we need your help. We need Jay-Z's help because he has such a big influence in the black community, which led to a meeting with NFL Commissioner Roger Goodall. In 2019, Roc Nation assisted in establishing the league's Inspire Change campaign, and in return was offered exclusive slots for its artists at the NFL music events, including the Super Bowl halftime show. The partnership was heavily criticized for engaging with the NFL, while Kaepernick remained effectively blacklisted from the league. Kaepernick got blacklisted from the league. You want to kneel? You want to take a stand? You want to be political? You're out of here. You'll never work again, which is what whistleblowers and victims that speak out have to go through. You're never going to work. People will say, well, why don't people stand up? And why didn't we know about this sooner? It's because you're going to lose your job, your family, your well-being. You're going to lose all of that. The safety of you, depending on who you whistleblowing, you're going to lose all of that. So you have to be strong enough, willing enough to take that stance. The smear campaign allegations in 2025. Kaepernick's partner, Nessa, went public with serious accusations. She alleged that Roc Nation took $5 million a year over 5 years to help the NFL move beyond the controversy around their refusal to sign Kaepernick and Jay-Z's deliberately co-opted Colin's protest. Remember, Jay-Z came out and said, it's time that we stop kneeling. We're done kneeling. And that's what they needed him to do. That's why they called him. Tell the black people we're done with this protest shit. Tell them, hurry up, wrap this shit up. And we wrapped that shit up pretty quickly. Colin Kaepernick was never given a chance to come back. And people said all this shit. Well, he didn't want to play anyway. He wasn't even that good. It doesn't matter. He had a job. He never got in trouble before. He took a stand because of police brutality, right? He used his platform for good and he was punished for it. And Jay-Z came out and said, we need to stop kneeling. And we did. We said, aye, aye, Captain. Done with that shit. Who cares if this shit's still happening? Who cares if it could be your cousin or your brother? Who cares? If they die, they die. We need to stop kneeling and move on. Let's move beyond this. Charlemagne came out and he said, when the Epstein files dropped and people started connecting the dots with Weinstein and everything like that, people came out and was like, no, this is unbelievable. Let's read some of these tweets. People were like, this is just unbelievable, right? I don't like Jay-Z, but none of this is believable. Yet he was given the opportunity by the NFL to hire Bad Bunny for the Super Bowl halftime show. This tells us how bad the NFL has gotten. In 1996, before his debut album even drops, do you really believe Jay-Z is in the hood of Brooklyn, New York with Harvey Weinstein? Shaking my head. This was a recorded statement from someone calling on a hotline. Anyone could call into a hotline and make a complaint. People were confused. They were like, nah, Jay-Z wouldn't be with Harvey Weinstein, but y'all don't understand Jay-Z's influence. You guys really don't get it. And that's just not about Jay-Z. It's about a lot of people. You know, again, with this image, we fall in love with the image and we don't know what happens beforehand. And shout out to Sabby Sabs, right? She is a content creator. She's more on the political side. If you don't know about her, please go follow her. She had made a video a month ago that said Jay-Z and Harvey Weinstein go way back. And if you listen to the video, and I'll link it below, you'll see it's her response is in response to Charlemagne. Because Charlemagne seems to pop up and he's a very influential figure as well. But he seems to pop up. And Charlemagne, to me, I'm side-eyeing a bit. Because it seems like he pops up at the worst times to say the worst things. And he's just like, well, I don't know. It's just my opinion. I really don't know. You know, the situation that happened with Michael B. Jordan and the BAFTA Awards where he was, you know, called the N-word. And now he won an Oscar. And Charlemagne comes out and he's like, oh, that was the best PR stunt ever. It's almost like he's planted there to get people to be like, no, look over here. No, look over here. And people, because media is media, and frequencies are important and powerful, will follow, the ones that are following him will follow that narrative. And so when this whole Weinstein, Epstein, Jay-Z thing came out, Charlemagne was one of the first ones that were like, no, his debut album, in fact, he said that. Where this tweet comes out, Charlemagne said that. Bro, in 1996, before his debut album, he's supposed to be powerful? Yeah. What do you think he was doing before? You think people just think that like you just drop and you just become big? Like you just drop. No, you don't just drop and be, you work for years at it. Anyways, let's listen to what some of Sabby Sabs have to say.
Him about mass incarceration and Donald Trump, because this was around the time, if I remember correctly, I think this was around the time when Jay-Z and Harvey Weinstein were doing the docu-series about Khalif Browder. And that does involve mass incarceration. So it makes sense that they would ask that question. And Trump was the president at the time. Watch this behavior.
In your thoughts on Donald Trump and what it means for mass for mass incarceration?
You know what? This is a labor of love for Jay, and as a result, he's my friend. We're here to talk about that and nothing else.
Well, then can I ask you about mass incarceration? And do you think the movement is...
He let that white man say, he said, go ahead. Talk, daddy. I don't have... Whoo.
Watch it again. Play close attention. Watch how uncomfortable he gets when she mentions Trump's name. Watch.
In your thoughts on Donald Trump and what it means for
Not going to answer that. Why?
What it means for mass incarceration.
He looks to Harvey Weinstein. Harvey Weinstein then jumps in to answer for Jay-Z, almost like a handler.
And a lot of people will say, well, that doesn't matter. But here's the thing. You're doing a documentary about mass incarceration. All these documentaries and all these movies that are so powerful, but the black community will say, wow, they really care about us. He's really bringing really important issues to light. We need to stop watching this shit. Right? What we don't need is a documentary watching mass incarceration, because if you know anything about the slavery to the incarceration pipeline, you'll see that the system just changed, right? Nothing got resolved. The system just changed. How they move slavery around to say, okay, we'll just arrest these people and make them work for free. We'll call these people criminals. And so if you think about a criminal, right, because we're not wired to really deep dive into other people's lives because we have our own lives. As a human being under capitalism, we're very individualistic, right? We care about ourselves and our needs and the needs of our own. When you think of criminal, you're like, oh, bad person. So whatever happens to these people, whether they're really criminals or not, whether they deserve the time that they got or not, whatever happens to these people don't matter. They die in jail, they have to work, they work for free. Doesn't matter because they're criminals. We've already deemed that they're trash in our heads. And that's why it was easy to say, well, black people are savages. Yeah, let's make them slaves. They're nothing. They're subhuman. They're second grade humans. They're nothing. And then when black people started fighting for rights and saying, no, actually, we are human beings and you need to treat us as such, we will fight back. Then it was, okay, fine, they are humans. But you know what? A lot of them are criminals. Yeah, criminals. There's a way to make the masses feel like, oh yeah, they ain't shit anyways. Whatever happens to them, it is what it is. And so we don't need to keep seeing documentaries. We need your influence to actually help these people that are mass incarcerated. We need you to help your community, but you're not necessarily doing that.
Most of us don't know until they get discovered. A lot of people didn't hear about Britney Spears until she came out with her solo album, but Britney Spears was on the Mickey Mouse Club when she was a kid. So let me show you how far back it goes. We're going to go back in time. There was a movie in 2000. It was a documentary called Backstage. I want to show you something. Backstage is a 2000 American documentary filmed by Chris Fiore, chronicling 1999 Hard Knock Life tour that featured several of hip-hop top acts, including Jay-Z, DMX, Method Man, and Redman. This is back when Method Man and Redman were rocking the boat. They were cool back then. I used to love Method Man and Redman. I came to bring the pain. Anywho, it was produced by Damon Dash. Backstage featured live performances by several members of Def Jam's roster and gave an in-depth look at what happened backstage. Now check this out. Peep this, fam. Originally, it was scheduled for a fall 1999 release, but it was released in September of 2000. Why is this important? Well, let's see who made this movie. Dimension Films.
Now, mind you, in the movie, we got Damon Dash, because I mean, I guess it's like a documentary or it's a movie documenting hip hop, right? So, of course, we got Sean Puffy Combs right there with them. Jay-Z, Sean Puffy Combs. They're not really friends. They're not really nothing. They don't really go way back. This ain't about Diddy, but I'm just,
Oh, dear. Let's look at Dimension Films. Dimension Films. This was an American independent film production and distribution label founded in 1992. Formerly a brand of one of the American mini majors, the Weinstein Company. Goes on to say here, Dimension Films was used as Harvey and Bob Weinstein's label within the brothers' own Miramax Film.
so that's already a connection of Jay-Z and Harvey Weinstein and Sean Puffy Diddy Combs in the 90s. That is a connection.
Bob Weinstein and Harvey Weinstein. So if we know that this documentary was scheduled for release in 1999, but it was released in 2000, if it was scheduled for release in 1999, we know they at least knew each other in 1999. And docuseries, sometimes like documentaries and stuff, sometimes it can take years to make. Sometimes, you can do it quickly. I was able to do mine rather quickly because I kind of had to do it quickly because it had a timeline to it. So Jay-Z was still in the studio. So the documentary, Rhyme and Reason, if we go to this one here, again, this was made by Peter Spear. This documentary was published in 1997. So now we're going back further. Let's see who made this documentary. Rhyme and Reason. Let's go on. Miramax Films.
So again, 1999, one movie drops, Harvey Weinstein. 3 years before that, 1997, another movie drops, Harvey Weinstein. One could only imagine that these movies do take at least a year, so that might be 1996. So we're going back in time, 90s, 80s. They're connected. Will I say that Jay-Z had anything to do with the sexual? No. But we all know the rumors around Aaliyah. I found out her name was Aaliyah and not Aaliyah. Aaliyah. It's just very interesting that these white billionaires want to call him up whenever there's a protest, in the protest. And he's like, check, he ends the protest. These white billionaires are writing emails to each other saying things like, oh yeah, he's gonna pacify the black community. That, you know what that means? That means, shut up, little poor asses. Shut up. Don't cause no riot. Don't start nothing for these people because these people pay me and you look up to me. So hush your mouth.
Also, as it says here, it was founded by Harvey and Bob Weinstein. The point that I'm trying to make is this, ladies and gentlemen. Now that was published in 1997. So now we know they at least knew each other by 1997. If we had to make a guess, at least by 1997. Could have been before that. We don't know how long it took them to make this documentary. So, now this is important because, let me go to this part here. People keep asking about this timeline. Let's go back a little bit further. Let's go back to London. Did you know that Jay-Z was also doing music in London in the 80s? We go back here. It all starts with a gentleman by the name of Jaz-O. See, it was Jaz-O and it was Jay-Z. Jaz-O was the rapper. He basically says that he taught Jay-Z everything that he knows about hip hop and the style to rap. And like I said, Jay-Z was originally the DJ, kind of like Will Smith. Remember the Fresh Prince, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince? So Jazz was the DJ and Will Smith was the rapper. You know, that was more common back then. But it said here, the boys are back in business, but here's what you should know about their questionable past. So at some point, I think it was 2019, they decided to put all this aside because they had a falling out, as things do. So let's go to London. In 1989, as part of his EMI deal, Jazz went on a trip to London to record his new album. So we're talking about Jaz-O. Jay made the trip along with a young Irv Gotti, narrowly avoiding a federal raid back in the United States, which he says would have prematurely ended his rap dreams without a reasonable doubt. Up until that London trip, my life could be mapped with a triangle: Brooklyn, Washington Heights, Trenton. Jay wrote in Decoded. Jazz's deal fizzled, but Jay used the experience as a lesson about how ruthless the industry is to artists.
So he's been working in music since the 80s. That's no big deal. But it does go back to show you that he's had a connection with Weinstein. So when Weinstein says, that's my friend and I'm going to talk for him, I'm going to talk for this grown-ass man, they definitely had connections. The irritation I'm feeling is the fact that, one, so many people will be like, no. We love Jay-Z. He's our leader. He's our king. That's fine. But when your king is hurting the black community, right? Listen to what Kanye said. Just listen. Let's listen. I wrote a thread about Kanye being crazy and everybody was so mad at me. Oh, he's not crazy. He's not. No. As somebody with mental illness, no. He's out of his mind. I didn't say he was a liar. I said he was crazy. And you've got to be somewhat out of your mind in order to stand up and say the things that you say with conviction, like how he says it. You can't be sane because you've got to know what's going to happen and what's going to, who's going to come after you.
We got other shit to get in.
Hold on. Where's...
You take people like Jay-Z and fucking Pusha T, they made their living killing our people. So how the fuck they gonna stand up for our people? You know what I'm saying? But we forget that because we love Jay-Z's music so much. We love Pusha's music so much. You take people like Jay-Z and fucking Pusha T, they they made their living killing our people. So how the fuck they gonna stand up for our people? You know what I'm saying? But we forget that because we love Jay-Z's music so much. We love pushing music so much, right? But you think they would ever, oh, Beyonce had the best fit for somebody else?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You think they would ever tell the truth? No, if they told the truth, I think they'd go to jail. You know what I'm saying? So you have liars.
Man.
Liars are now the face of our culture.
Hold on. So basically what you trying to say that...
I ain't trying to say a motherfucker thing. I just said it, ninja. Fuck you mean what I'm trying to say? What's wrong with you goddamn interviewee? Nigga, I ain't trying to say shit. I said Jigga blew the whistle.
He snitched.
He told him he would have told them people, man, and all hell broke loose. And then from that point on, all 5 of them companies.
Sean Carter is just as bad as the diddler.
I had the pleasure of meeting Jaguar. I understand why people might be like, she's lying. A lot of people feel like she's lying. But like Sabby says in her video, she did make some good points where she said, hey, Jay-Z's connected to all these people that are in jail. Diddy, Weinstein, R. Kelly. You were close to all these people. Everybody that you're close to goes to jail, but you are just scot-free. You've never done anything. You know, you got artists saying he's the feds. He blows up companies. You got other white men. Again, I'm going to keep on bringing up these white men saying he needs to do this for the black community. And it must be so stressful for somebody to play both sides. On one end, I cannot speak up for this community or rally for this community, especially when I'm telling them not to protest and that they need to chill out, especially when, you know, the reason why Sebby Sabs made the video is because she really cares about displacement, gentrification. She cares about people, big companies moving in, right, to neighborhoods that are occupied by marginalized communities and saying, you got to get out. And that's what happened. So the reason why Sabs was, because I'm the problem with that, you being in the Epstein files and these 2 white men talking about how you gonna tell a community how you need to pacify a community. Please, like what? And it's true. It's unfortunate, but it's true. He does have the power to say, hey, black people don't care about that. Hey, they're don't care about none of that. I'm not gonna talk about mass incarceration, even though I did a documentary or a movie about mass incarceration. We ain't gonna talk about that. We ain't gonna talk about these things. In fact, we need more casinos in our communities. That way we can gamble. That way you can get the money from the white man and then you can gamble it all away. If you guys remember an interview, it wasn't an interview, it was like more of like an event, I think, because it was Kevin Hart and some white guy on a stage and they were talking and Kevin was just talking about how, you know, if we knew better, we would do better. But in every hood, there's a liquor store and a check cashing place. And they do that strategically. You get your check because when you get paid less, and I'm not talking about just black people in impoverished communities, black and brown, urban communities, when you get paid less, they'll try to say things like, if you don't have any money, stop buying that coffee or don't buy that $8 pack of cigarettes because that adds up. Yeah, that adds up to about $100, but it's not going to change your life. Saving that $100 isn't going to move you into a condo with a better car and promised education for your kid. That's just not going to happen. So he was saying how strategically they put these things in neighborhoods. So that's how I feel when I see that Jay-Z's like, we need casinos. I'm trying to buy this casino. Remember, he was trying to buy a casino and he got denied for it, even though he's a billionaire. I'm trying to buy a casino. We need casinos. Addiction. Whether it's cash your check and buy this liquor, buy this alcohol, buy these drugs, or cash your check and go and spend it at a casino, you need to be funneling the money back. We need the money back. There's no way that I'm going to teach a financial literacy course. In 2003, the $4.9 billion, 22-acre Atlantic Yards project was unveiled on the steps of Brooklyn Borough Hall by the then mayor Michael Bloomberg and developer Bruce Ratner, with Jay-Z and celebrity architect Frank Gehry present. The most contested aspect of the project was the use of eminent domain to seize buildings, displacing businesses and hundreds of residents. Jay-Z's role. Jay-Z was brought in shortly after a community benefits agreement was signed in 2005 in an effort, according to the community, to legitimize the product. Make this look legit. We're going to displace businesses and hundreds of residents. Make this look legit. And as we all know, Jay-Z is from Brooklyn, so he would be the face of this to legitimize the project and persuade the public into trusting the development. I need you, same thing with that call, man. Y'all ain't hearing me. Same thing with that call. Hey, pacify this community, tell them we're done kneeling. Okay, check, boss. Hey, I need you to make this legitimate. What did they say? Get the public to trust the development. Hey, y'all. I'm from Marcy. This gonna be good for the neighborhood. And everybody's like, oh shit, he is from Marcy. And he did make it. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. We'll sign off on this. There won't be no pushback from the public. Yeah, okay. The broken promises. The community was promised affordable housing and jobs in exchange for supporting the development. The project committed to delivering 2,250 units of affordable housing, but as of the end of 2023, 876 of those units remained unbuilt, and the state authority has postponed enforcing the agreed upon fines against the developer. Who got displaced? The project caused significant displacement of hundreds of long-term household and small businesses. Long-term. I've been in this house for 20 years, and what you're telling me is I can't live here no more. But I don't have a following, so even if I got on Instagram and ranted about it, nobody would give a f. Rents in the Prospect Heights and neighboring areas like Fort Greene rose sharply after 2012, pushing out working-class Black and Caribbean communities that had anchored neighborhoods for decades. Anchored the neighborhood for decades. We've been here for decades. We put our blood, sweat, and tears into building these businesses. My home. I've been here forever, and y'all are moving me out to build some shit. You use Jay-Z to legitimize it and make it look legit. He did it, and then when 876 of those units didn't get built, and the state authority postponed enforcing it, all these people got moved, and it was like, anyways, next, I need a casino. I did my job because I'm supposed to be the face of it all. Like, pay attention. It's how Jaguar does her faces. That's why people don't believe it.
Nation will be McDonald's. Jay-Z's Ronald McDonald. Everybody know Ronald, right?
Right.
Because he's the mascot.
He's the face.
He's the face, right? But all the money's up here. Just like Kanye. Everybody said Kanye was a fucking billionaire to win. He lost his Adidas deal, right? Deal. Watch when Live Nation cut Jay-Z off, right? And then this ain't no hate Jay train. It's just like, for me, one, he's a sucker just for personally not thinking about everybody that contributed to his career. This is just a fact. When they all try to come together to do the Black Distribution Company, right? Jay went and told. He went and told, he blew the spot up, and the feds came in and started hitting niggas with cases in there, because they all said, yo, we're gonna put our money together, right? We're gonna do our own distribution.
I see how you're framing it. You don't F with niggas?
And what's wild is people will be like, no, Jay, he love niggas. No! Because it's hard to believe that this Black man who's finally made it, right? He's made it. He showed us that you can come from the hood. But this is the case of somebody that came from the hood and said, bump Blacks. A lot of people will rise up in their careers. And at first, and this is not an excuse, but I'm just saying, I have to be fair. At first, you'll try to help people up. But then when you realize that these people aren't willing to take the steps, they're not willing to do what you do, they're not willing to work as hard, people only see the results. They don't see the hours and days and sleepless nights that go into building anything. They don't see that. They see the results. They want the results, right? They'll follow you for the results, but they won't follow you for the hard work and the determination you put into it. So it's hard for people, Black men specifically, to see this man. And Charlemagne just seems like one of those, like a plant. Not that he was just given an opportunity. No, he's worked hard. We followed Charlemagne's journey. But every time, and Sabby will connect those dots, every time it's something about Jay-Z or something going on with Black people, it's just, he's there just like Stephen A. to be like, no. And what you want to do is you want to position yourself in a Black community to be that voice that's very highly respected in the Black community, but will easily turn on them. White people that are billionaires want to see that. That's why you're given all these deals, because white people want to see that. Will you say these things? If I know something is good for the community, I might come and all I got to do is put a seed of doubt. All I got to do is say, I don't know. Just like Charlemagne. Charlemagne, you know Jay-Z. You know music. You've been in the radio forever. How was Sabby Sabs able to research that Jay-Z had a partnership with Weinstein previous to his debut album? How was she able to look that up and you weren't? How did you get on your platform with millions of eyes and say, he didn't even know, I don't even think he knew Weinstein because his album didn't come out until, how didn't you know that? That is interesting. I think you knew that. And I think that your job is to be like, doubt. Because doubt is easy to plant into people, and then it's easy to be like, well, I don't know. Is that true? Oh, okay, good. Well, thank you for informing me. It's interesting.
Gotta tell y'all, Because I told y'all in 2002, and y'all ain't believe me. I told y'all that nigga was a crab, and y'all ain't believe me. You know what I'm saying? How many accounts gotta come up? Dane, Biggs, R. Kelly, Kiss, Beans. I mean, the list go on. That nigga's a crab. It ain't no hate involved, but you know, you gonna see. Still biting my step. Jaz-O's the best. Secret Society with Jay-Z, man. He's involved, but he's involved with this shit, man. He involved with that play shit. Like,
and I don't know that to be true. Maybe he was just mad. But it's like, you know, again, all of your besties are predators. They love to say that women that flock together, if she a hoe, birds of a feather flock together. And it's like, okay, all of your friends, everybody who's ever had any knowledge of you says that you tell on people, you gain the trust. And I think that was what this interview was about. All right, let me show my face since I'm always silent. Let me show my face and gain the trust of people. Man, I'm Jay-Z. I don't know about none of that stuff. Yes, you do. And unfortunately, because all these files then came out and people's eyes are open, not everybody, you still have the masses asleep, but because more and more people are opening their eyes every day like newborn birds, we're able to see through the bullshit. They go back from the 80s. He's been working with this man since the 80s.
And if you notice, he calls himself Jehovah or Hove. And before they started retranslating, you know, the New American version of the Bible, you know, Jehovah was known as a jealous God in the Bible. But I'm gonna give people the simple and general overstanding that all of those people, many of those prophets in the Bible, and even when you talk about these different deities in the Bible, they were not people. Even when you go into the Egyptian pantheon, like, they weren't people. But as far as Homeboy, like, it's really a bunch of Masons. See, the whole Freemason thing is based on a lower level of understanding. Like, the real secrets have never been revealed. They weren't supposed to be revealed. So all these people, they walking around like they know something for real, but they don't really know shit. You know, and he doing those little signs and all of that. Those are symbols that have been out there. They've been propagating them shits for a few thousand years. Number one, anybody who knows how magic knows that those shits don't have any power anymore. Number two, you know, everybody knows what they basically mean, like the understanding of it, like, you know, as far as the pyramid and stuff like that.
Yeah, we all kind of have a basic understanding of what those things mean. Now, when she breaks down his relationship with Charlemagne, I'm so sorry. I've got to add a little light to this, because when I heard this, I'm like, oh, now that makes sense why Charlemagne's always like, I don't know. I don't believe it. I don't believe. See, Charlemagne will never come out and be like, oh, absolutely not. But he'll be like, I don't believe it. He places that doubt. And people that listen, it's easy to be like, well, I am a fan. And you know what? You're placing that doubt. So you know what? I am doubtful of it. Right now, she's on the United Justice Coalition website. I guess this is a Justice Coalition, as it says. And so, of course, with every board or with every organization, there's going to be members listed on their website. And so she's going through the website. There's Benjamin Crump. Let's see.
Benjamin Crump is there. He's the one that represents a lot of the civil rights cases, police brutality cases. There's Michael Eric Dyson. He's there. Rock with me now. There is Charlemagne the God. Hold on to that one, that name. That's important. Let's keep going. Van Jones is there with his pro-Israel genocide ass. Let's keep going. There's Gayle King. So you got media, 1, 2, and Charlemagne, 1, 2, 3. You got media. Let's keep going. Going. This guy right here, Alex Spiro. Do you know who this is? Alex Spiro was Elon Musk's lawyer. Interesting, huh?
That is interesting.
Yeah. And when you get to the very bottom, there's Jay-Z. So let me ask you a question, folks.
And Desiree.
This organization, United Justice Coalition, I'm not here to knock the organization, but what I'm saying is, when you look at the players that are part of this coalition, if something comes out against one of these people, do you think the United Coalition for Justice is going to say, okay, we need to get justice for the people that you are alleged of harming? No. They got the media with Van Jones and Gayle King. They got Jay-Z on there. They got Alex Spiro, who's Elon Musk's lawyer. They got Charlemagne the God. What did Charlemagne the God say about the Jay-Z info and the Epstein files? He quickly came to Jay-Z's defense.
Just added that doubt. I don't know. And so people don't really understand media. You know, it's just what we see on TV. And no, this shit is powerful. And people don't understand media and how media works. If there's an allegation, the first thing a PR person will say is, let's do a media blitz and put a lot of confusion out there. Let's get you out there. You need to be seen. There's too many people talking about this one thing, so you need to be seen out here doing this, doing that. That way, the people that haven't heard about you yet can see you doing good things. That way, if they do hear something negative, they can combat it with, well, I just seen. And then the people that are doubtful and not really sure can be swayed because you're on this publication or platform saying this one thing or that. I just found it funny that when I came out against my abuser, he was on the Shade Room and Cam Newton and Jamal Bryant. It's like, whoa, all these you're on a media blitz, love. And I love that for you. But you know what's better than being on a media blitz? Telling the truth. Because you can do that for free. You don't have to try to make connections with people and try to get on a platform and look stupid on a platforms like he did. Look crazy and look like you're lying. You ain't got to do none of that. You can just tell the truth. You can sit right there at your house or in your car and you can just say, at this time, this date, I didn't do that. There's no proof of that. Here's this text message that proves this. Here's this email. This person was there. This is this witness. It's very simple. To tell the truth is very cheap. But when you can't tell the truth because you know you were doing dirt, you have to go on a media blitz. You have to be on everybody's platform doing the most. And that's what we're seeing now with this interview. This interview didn't say anything. And people were like, why isn't he addressing the rumors? Because you can't. When you're a liar, I'm not saying Jay-Z's a liar. When you are a liar, though, you cannot address certain rumors. When you know that you've done dirt, you can't, because there are people waiting to be like, oh, really? When you said it didn't happen? I know I'm waiting. Somebody I accused the other week came out to do her media blitz and was like, ex-coworkers, they were demons. You're smart to not say my name. Don't say my name. Because if you say my name, we got to go receipt for receipt. We got to go proof for proof. We got to do it. We got to really fight. And you're not going to want that because you're not going to have it. And I am. So this is the reason why people will go on little interviews. And so people can say, oh, God, I really like him. Or I saw a different side of him. Or, oh, God, that was really powerful. Yeah, those are media blitz. Those are just media runs, love. If you're in media, you know where to spot the bullshit. Let's see what some other creators have to say about it.
I would have asked, hold on, bruh. Did you tell Jermaine Dupri not to work with the NFL when they approached him to do the halftime show? Didn't you tell him not to work with the NFL because we was boycotting the NFL? Just for you to take the Super Bowl job and start working with the NFL and then tell black folks, we done protesting, we done blackballing the NFL. What's next? After you got hired, after they gave you a check, after they gave you again, the NFL paid Jay-Z to be a cultural regulator. Jay-Z was that one black person they had on the plantation to watch out for any escape plans. Black folks was protesting. We was done with the NFL. They gave Jay-Z a check to tell us to stop boycotting. After he got hired by the NFL to make them look good, Rock Nation called up TMZ to run a bad story on Colin Kaepernick. This is why we call Jay-Z a sellout, for doing things like this.
It was Nessa, and she was talking about Nicki Minaj's claims about a smear job that Jay-Z had against Colin Kaepernick. But I know for sure, that Rock Nation was seeding negative stories about Colin Kaepernick during the time that he was really in traction with Jay-Z. For sure. I've told this story before, I'll tell it again. This is another story where I give Harvey a ton of credit, right? So I'm at my desk one time. This is after the Rock Nation NFL deal has been announced. And give Harvey more credit than just with how he played this. I'll give him credit for the fact that he goes, hey, I just got this information on the phone. I know who was on the other end of the phone. I know who Harvey's Rock Nation contact is, right? I just got this information on the phone. And all of these things about Colin Kaepernick is what I just got told, right? He comes over to me and he tells me all of these things. And it was the whole Colin Kaepernick doesn't really want to play narrative. Like Colin Kaepernick didn't go to this training, or he sabotaged himself this way or whatever. Actually, it was the same thing that people had started to hear on First Take.
I remember them being like, he's not even good anymore. He can't even run. He doesn't even want to play. I remember seeing those headlines and I'm like, if all of this is true, what does this have to do with him kneeling? He's kneeling for a cause. We know what the cause is. We know why that cause is. We know what happened. Why are we being derailed? But then that's just media. Look over here. Don't look there. Don't look there. And ask this question. Don't ask that question. Don't ask me that question. Ask this question. Look over here. Look, look, look. This is shiny. And it's like everybody's like, huh? Okay. We're over here now. Wait, where? Okay, we're over here now. What do you want me to believe? Okay, I'll believe it. What do you want me to do? You want me to drink the Kool-Aid? Okay, I'll drink it.
And it was a narrative that was getting around because either it was coming from what I thought at first is that either it was coming from players that had played with him or people that knew things. I don't know, but I had heard it before, right? And Harvey comes over to me and he says all of this stuff. And he's like, yeah, did you know that he actually doesn't really want to play? And I looked at Harvey and I said, look, I don't think that we here at TMZ should be getting in the middle of what's going on between Colin Kaepernick and Jay-Z.
The really dense Jay-Z defenders and Rock Nation cult members will say, Rock Nation called, not Jay-Z. Right, Jay-Z owns Rock Nation. Right? When Rock Nation calls, they call it on behalf of Jay-Z. And it's no coincidence that Jay-Z signs up to the NFL. Colin Kaepernick criticized Jay-Z for working with the NFL and telling black folks to stop boycotting. And then Jay-Z and Rock Nation began to tell people, hey, y'all shouldn't be boycotting. Colin Kaepernick don't really want to work with the NFL. He don't really want a job with the NFL.
It was just a mess. Y'all, let me know what you think about this episode in the comments below. This episode, I was going to talk about multiple things, but for some reason, I went down the Jay-Z rabbit hole. I did. Because I remember feeling that when the Epstein files came out and they said his name, and I said, okay, well, the woman made an anonymous tip. No charges have been filed. Not to say that that's not true, but I'm just saying, well, okay, well, let's just wait to see what comes out with that, with the whole Pusha T situation, okay. But then the second time his name was mentioned was when these two white billionaires were talking about his influence over the black community. And that is interesting. What be it to you, sir? Let me know what your thoughts are about Jay-Z, his new interview, him coming out, him going, back on the road. What's really going on? You got Mama Tina out selling gumbo. You got Beyonce selling these expensive ass hair products. I tried Sacred. I can't wait for Cardi B's line to come out. It's a little bit more affordable. I ain't got it. It just seems like there's money grab because something big might be brewing. And honestly, I think it might have something to do with the fact that Diddy's going to come out soon. You're going to see these Diddy apologists coming out. He wasn't a bad person, and they're going to be doing media runs. He wasn't a bad person. Diddy, good person, did this for me. I like him. That way, more people can say, well, that shit was a long time ago. Let's lean and let's move forward. Like when the NFL said we need to just move forward from all boycott shit. Let's move forward. That's what's going to happen with Diddy. And people are going to move forward. And Diddy's going to want his revenge. One thing that I don't think people are taking into account is that Diddy's going to want his revenge. When all this happened and people had to back away and people had to distance themselves, including Jay-Z, whose lawyer came out and was like, they went to a couple basketball games together, but they weren't like friends. You've known this nigga since the 90s. Y'all aren't friends? Yeah, he calls you his brother. He says you're the only one that can call him by a certain name. He says y'all are closer than close. He was with you in movies in the 90s with Weinstein. Y'all aren't friends? Damn, business is tough, right? Business is business. I just think that people are going to start getting their story straight because they know that when Diddy comes out and he's equipped with his money and his connections again, he's going to be willing to come after everybody. He's going to go after 50 Cent. I don't know if he's going to win. He's going to go after Jay-Z. Maybe. This is all speculation. Possibly. Maybe they make up and they become friends, but you turn your back on me like I'm R. Kelly. R. Kelly's done. But I only got 2-3 years. I'm about to be out this in a minute and you turn your back on me? Huh. Okay. Kanye flipped quick and was like, yeah, he's a Fed. He kept calling him a Fed. And when they say that these people are killing our community, it doesn't mean actually killing our community. It means displacing hundreds of black people and saying, sorry that you've been building in this community for 20 years, for decades, but yeah, it's over now. So move your grandma and your kids out because we're about to do a stadium here. Yeah, we're about to rezone this whole place. Yeah, sorry, you're not important. That kills a community. When there's a boycott going on because we're actively facing police brutality, which isn't just something that's made up in our heads, and we're saying, hey, we're not going to stand for this. The biggest organization in the world, we're not going to stand. They have to stand up for us. And you got a mascot that's like, we're done kneeling. Folks are like, okay. Yes, sir. That's killing our community. When you're saying, I need to put casinos everywhere, just like Elon Musk is putting AI that are sucking up all the water, but people don't necessarily care because they're able to do fun things with AI, but it's sucking up the water, and people, marginalized communities, are saying, hey, our water tastes different. Hey, our air, it feels like metal. It smells like metal. Like we're being affected. We're being poisoned. And people are like, anyways, it's not happening in my community. Turn up, let's do more AI. That's killing a community. People don't care because it's not affecting you. It's not in your community. So it's like, eh. But then when it gets so big that it is in your community, that's when people will say, how did this happen? It happened a long time ago. You just weren't paying attention. So let me know what you guys feel in the comments about what I'm saying. Am I reaching or am I preaching? Do you understand the connection, or does it not even matter? Do you think it's all a conspiracy? Let me know. I will meet you down there. If you like me or my page, please go on down to KitaSaid.com and buy my Growing Through It journal or my Balancing My Bullshit plural. And until next time, I will hover. They call me Ho. They call me H. Visual. I will holla.